Alien Earth featurette teases high-stakes horror and humanity's future. Which makes sense because it takes place in the future. Smile and say cheese. So FX released a new 4-minute behind-the-scenes featurette for Alien Earth, offering a deeper look at the show's character, setting, and tone. The series premieres August 12th on FX, Hulu, and Hulu on DP. So here, Holly, he's seen talking about it and explaining a lot about it and whatnot. And, of course, more scenes are shown and whatnot, and it's all very cool. And a good bit of it is in keeping with the stylings and look of the original Alien and Aliens. And that's all really cool, and it is intriguing, but probably, and it's a series, so you get a lot more out of it, but odds are I'll probably like the show better than Romulus. Romulus, I wasn't all that wowed by, and the ending with the engineer guy. But that being said, all of the Alien sequels have been pretty bad. The only Alien and Aliens are good. After Aliens, everything just falls apart and goes to crap. But Romulus is probably the best of those. It beats out all the others. Prometheus is interesting. Not much to it. Alien Covenant, probably the absolute worst Alien film ever made. So here we are. So Romulus, did better than that. So Alien Earth, we'll see how this goes. But showrunner Noah Hawley describes Alien Earth as a story set during the corporate era. You mean now? Where a Weyland-Yutani ship carrying alien species crashes into Earth, specifically onto property owned by the Prodigy Corporation. Prodigy is run by billionaire Boy Cavalier. Boy, was he raised by Tarzan? Who's working on the first human to synthetic consciousness transfer, resulting in a transhuman hybrid named Wendy. Wendy is a 12-year-old girl whose mind now resides in a synthetic adult body. I'm not too crazy about that. It's just, you're not going to have any adult men be attracted to Wendy, who looks like a grown woman, but it has, I don't know. Anyway, as the series begins, she's separated from her family and placed in a corporate-controlled simulation of reality. The arrival of alien organisms and the fight for survival quickly unravels her perception of that world. Well, I guess so. What the cast and crew say? Well, they're all for it and they think it's cool and stuff like that. But the interesting thing about it is they confirm that it's not just the xenomorphs. There's at least 4 other alien species that arrive in that ship. So they've been collecting other critters out there. And at least that expands it back to a more open universe rather than what Prometheus did, which shrunk it down to basically humans, and the xenomorphs are cousins, and the engineers are really the only aliens, and they created both of us. So, whereas this, of course, these are probably other creatures that the engineers engineered, And then, of course, the other thing about transhumanism, well, that's been going on since the first one with, the androids and all that. And where does humanity end, and, or does it continue? And transhumanism is like the consciousness. Well, that's like saying that some sort of technological thing can transfer a soul from one body to the next. And then you're delving into the supernatural and whatnot. Having the ability to copy one's thoughts and feelings and all that at the moment of death and then transfer it into another body, then that copy survives. But the original person who's dying of, cancer or whatever, and I suspect that's the deal here with the girl, unless they lied to her just to experiment on her, which could be a plot too, I don't know. But nevertheless, the original girl, well, she dies on the table. And then this android body with all her memories and personality and everything intact, but it's still just a copy, So it's not, immortality or anything. So obviously the goal for this billionaire for that sort of thing would be similar to what happened in Prometheus, where, Weyland, the original Weyland, was seeking immortality, and he thought the engineers could help him achieve that. That was what he really wanted. But to just put a copy of yourself into a synthetic body, that's not immortality. That's just a copy of you. You still die, but the copy lives on. Yeah. So I don't know if they'll address any of that or not. But anyway, this will be the first story where the xenomorphs finally make it to Earth. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's going full Galactus and chomping on the whole planet. But Xenomorphs is not alone. There's other critters on that ship, and what are they going to do? You get a glimpse at some of them in the teaser. So I'm going to watch it. I'll tell you what I think, and probably will be more interesting than Romulus. So I'm guessing that'll be the case. But and it might actually be a good series, even though it's probably going to break from things that I don't think Alien should do. But been disappointed so many times since Aliens. Alien and Aliens so far are really the only films in Alien that matter. So maybe this one will beat the odds, Meanwhile, there's a whole other franchise they might exist with. No, not Blade Runner. Maybe that too. I don't know. But Predator. They've crossed over before. Yeah. But, well, maybe they're going to try to do it well this time. So Predator Badlands director confirms Alien tie-in. AVP universe rumors intensify. Well, that sounds pretty much a confirmation. And it really centers around this girl, who isn't a girl at all. She's a synthetic. See? So following the recent trailer release and ahead of this weekend's big Hall H appearance at Comic-Con, Predator Badlands director David Trachtenberg has confirmed what fans have long suspected. The upcoming film features a direct link to the Alien franchise through Elle Fanning's character, a Weyland-Yutani synthetic named Thea. Well, there you go. She's a Weyland-Yutani synthetic and not just their own synthetic that they just ripped off. Then that's it. That's the connection. They exist in the same universe. But Trachtenberg is clear that this isn't a full-blown Aliens versus Predator crossover. At least, not yet. It is exciting to have this movie be just a little toe-dip link between those franchises, he told Entertainment Weekly, otherwise known as EW. It's important to me. I'm sure people anticipate a much bigger thing, and maybe other movies and other cinematic universes would be more aggressive, but I really didn't want to take all the action figures and smush them together. I really wanted to tell a cool story. Well, that's how you do that. You don't put them all together at once, though they do that a lot nowadays. But you can build on it for later, and that's the right way to do it. You do a Predator movie. And that's what he's done. So Trachtenberg revealed that Elle Fanning's character Thea is an artificial being created by Weyland-Yutani, the infamous megacorporation central to the alien mythos. It's the first time a Predator film has canonically included a Weyland-Yutani synthetic since the early 2000s AVP movies. And this time, the connection is more grounded. I knew Deck, the Predator needed company, but to make her human would mean that everyone, audiences and producers alike, would start to get tempted by that human. And their story, he said. So he made her a robot instead. And then the next thought was, wait a minute, I know a company that makes robots. And that led to Weyland-Yutani synth of it all. Well, Really? You just stumbled into it? Or was that like a directive, because we're going to try to make another shared universe, Trachtenberg also teased their odd couple dynamic. Which one's the slob and the other one's a neat freak, They are a pretty interesting and bizarre pairing for each other, and that's a huge part of the fun of the movie, their chemistry. Maybe they fall in love, While Trachtenberg plays down crossover expectations, Badlands is far from isolated. Rumors of a new Alien vs. Predator cinematic universe have been steadily gaining traction. And there's more than just speculation. A leaked poster for Predator Badlands shows Deck carrying Thea's seemingly damaged body, evoking imagery from both Predator and Aliens. Fans also noted that her design heavily resembles Bishop from Aliens, and her gear looks like something straight out of the Colonial Marines playbook. Then there's FX's Alien Earth, which also features a synthetic Wendy, a hybrid AI human created by another shady tech corporation, and multiple new alien species designated as Species 37, some of which may even have Predator DNA. A voiceover in one teaser says the ship has collected 5 different forms from the darkest corners of the universe. Language that sounds like it could easily describe Yautja, the Predators. Okay, well, let's just call them Predators, shall we? Anyway, there's the teased image from earlier, and I'm really hoping this Deck keeps his helmet on. He looks cooler with it. He looks kind of stupid with his crappy hairstyle. Anyway, there she is, and he's like her backpack, but she can handle she still got her arms, so she can handle the gun. And there you see half of her's gone, just like Bishop was at the end of Aliens. And so something ripped her legs off and all that. But I don't know. He likes talking to her, so keeps her along for the ride. So sources like Tachyon Pulse via YouTube reported that Dan Trachtenberg may be working with Disney to slowly build a crossover path that ties together Badlands and Alien Earth. One insider told the channel, "This is the culmination. Dan Trachtenberg is working toward creating a universe that will spin off into Alien vs. Predator." Meanwhile, Alien Rama's director Fede Alvarez has openly said he's interested in an AVP project, but with a twist. The best AVP will be the one that you don't know is AVP until the other guy shows up, Alvarez told Collider. You think you're watching a Predator movie, and then fucking hell, it's a xenomorph. Yeah. There's another. Oh, it's Predator versus Godzilla. That could be something. Anyway, the setup is already here. That Thea's connection. Yeah, it's pretty much a done deal. They're in the same universe. Will they do a crossover? Well, if Predator Badlands bombs and Alien Earth bombs, then no. But if they do well, then all bets are off. Even she's stunned. And she's in the movie.